Greetings, 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 everyone. Thank you all for tuning in and welcome to another edition of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. Tonight is episode number 66. I can't believe that I'm at 66 episodes. But nonetheless, welcome to another edition of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host of Female Barber Talk. And tonight we have another Barber Knowledge Matter like educational series. And we are talking about redefining rich. Let's put that to go ahead and put that title up so we can show that, get these comments going for when they do come in, when our individuals do come in. But nonetheless, we're talking about redefining rich. Money, peace, and purpose. Money, peace, and purpose. So what if rich meant peaceful instead of busy? Think about that. What if it meant peaceful instead of busy? Barbers, well, beauty and barber industry, but you all know that I am a barber stylist, i.e. master hair care specialist, a barber stylist. Many times barbers chase income, but not clarity, not stability, not peace. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mentioned before, I'm a little more seasoned, so I'm going to be coming at things from a very different perspective than our younger generation, or even some of the, the seasoned individuals as well. But nonetheless, I am sharing from my vantage point the experience that I've had. I've been in a lot of different careers. So if you haven't heard my story, get a heritage of a hair. Get a heritage of hair book. The QR code is in the corner. But nonetheless, let's get back into this intro. We are talking about redefining rich, money, peace, and purpose. And as I mentioned before, what if rich meant peaceful instead of busy? As I said, many barbers oftentimes chase the income, not clarity, not stability, and not peace. So today we're redefining wealth. And before I get started, I want to say, before we get into this, I am not a financial advisor. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going to be sharing my personal experiences and my perspective. Okay, so you all know I give 3 points. We're going to go through these 3 points. I'm going to ask questions as in food for thought for you all who are watching this, and also share my personal experience. I mentioned a couple books that I just picked up. I pulled some stuff from when I was in going through interior design school. I took a class. I'm going to share that book with you because y'all, I just picked it back up, and I'm looking at some things because how can I say, I'm just redefining, realigning, and just reshaping some things as it relates to my monies. And I'm in talks with some individuals, but nonetheless, I just want to say this: I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my personal experience and my perspective with this. And as I mentioned before, I'm gonna give you 3 topics, 3 points. I'll share with you 3 points. Then we're gonna close it out. On top of that, I'm gonna ask some questions, just food for thought things, and then close us out so that we can continue on with this series that I'm doing, in essence, called the mindset shift. I'm missing the title. Yes, the cutting through the mindset. So it's about identity, alignment, and legacy. And yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I got some notifications popping up here. I thought I had my phone on silent. Let me make sure, y'all, I got my my phone's, yeah, on silent because I keep hearing notifications pop up. So the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight in this redefining a rich money, peace, and purpose episode. Once again, it's episode 66, and this is part of the cutting through mindset, identity, alignment, and legacy. Let me make sure that I got this on, y'all. Y'all bear with me. I'm still StreamYard has updated some things, and I'm still working this out. But nonetheless, the first point that I want to share with you, money without peace, is the first point. So income doesn't equal security. And I guess you're saying, what you mean by that, Yah-Tay? What they got to do? What they got to do with anything? Well, income doesn't always equal security. First question I want to throw at you. Are you earning well, but still stressing constantly? So what I'm saying here, if you're earning well, but you're still stressing constantly, that means something ain't lining up, y'all. Something ain't lining up. So some people are fully booked, but mentally broke. Think about that. Some people are fully booked, but mentally broke. So what I mean by this, or what I'm sharing in this reference, is ask yourself, you're making money, but every bill feels like pressure. Why is it? Why does it? Hey, WK, thank you for joining. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. Tonight, we're talking about redefining rich, money, peace, and purpose. And our first point is about money without peace. And I asked the question of, are you earning well? You could be earning well, but still stressing constantly. And one thing that I've noticed, or I've seen, or I've observed is some people be fully booked, but they still stressed out. You know, we have conversations in the barbershop and the salon, because I've been in both environments, working, you know, for as a 1099 and a W-2 in different spaces. But some people are fully booked, but they're still stressed out. I had and let me just move on with that. Let me just move on. You're making money, but every bill feels like pressure. So there's no cushion, and no cushion equals no confidence. And success shouldn't feel like we're surviving every week. If we're making the monies, but we're not making our money work for us and putting it in the right places, then we're going to have this stress. Hey, LaDosha, thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm talking about redefining rich, money, peace, and purpose. And I'm actually, y'all, going through this. I'm going to share some stuff. So I got some things that I'm moving off my plate, some things that I'm working on, and I'm just going to share with you here. I got some stuff that I got lined up that I'm working on. So yeah, so this is something that's that I'm working on personally. I'm just going to say that. Sometimes you get in situations and get left holding the bag. I'm gonna just say you get left holding the bag. So I'm in this position and I'm redefining what that means to me. I gotta share this, and I'm gonna mention it later on about the American dream. I know that there is ideology about the American dream, but I'm redefining what does that mean for me? What does the American dream mean for me? And where I am in this season of my life. What does being wealthy? What does being rich mean to me? And in the space that I'm in, yes, I want to have resources where I'll be able to take care of things and not have to worry about too much. You know what I'm saying? We're always going to have expenses. You know, you have your monthly expenses. You're going to have those as an adult, you're going to have them. Uh, but at the same time, those extra things, you know, moving things off your plate, paying down bills, taking care of stuff. So for me, it's about what do I want to do in this season of my life. I got to tell y'all this, and it's coming up, and I'll share with you all why it's um, it's really blaring at me. In 2 weeks from today will make a year that my dad has transitioned. And my dad is actually my last living, he was my last living parent. So now I'm without both of my parents. And not um, having my parents, especially my dad, because we had an opportunity to talk and share and get a lot of things right. My dad set a lot of things straight for me. He apologized for some things that he did and didn't do, um, uh, for me and my siblings, but more specifically with me, talking our conversations, his conversations with me. And so he made a lot of things right before he transitioned. And in that, this whole last year, y'all, when I tell you I've been reevaluating things, looking at things, how do I want to live, what legacy I want to leave behind, you know, what I put up with, what I don't put up with. And I don't care who it is, family, friends, associates, whatever it is. I've really this year have been weighing those things and looking at what's important and what's not important. So um, on this aspect of it, redefining rich is part of what things that I'm redefining. So let's get back into this. So point one is money without peace. Income doesn't necessarily equal security. And I ask you all, are you earning well but stressing constantly? And like I said, some people are fully booked, but they're mentally broke. You know, you're making money, but every bill feels like pressure, you know, and that comes from you. It can be many different things. Everybody have to look at their unique situation and figure out where they can make the necessary adjustments. But do you know your numbers? And this paper that I was telling y'all about, I am really zeroing in and not only looking at my personal numbers, but looking at my business numbers. I showed y'all the Excel sheet that I use. I shared it with some individuals. I shared it with some individuals because I told them that's how I keep track of my expenses for my business. But I'm looking at those numbers and seeing, you know, is this important? Is this not important? Prioritizing and letting stuff go. But for us as barbers and stylists, do you know your actual monthly numbers? And I'm gonna tell y'all, I do know my numbers. I'm going to show y'all right here in my phone. I have a sheet that I have my numbers. So I know my numbers. I keep up with my numbers. And every time something is deducted or take, for instance, I got a couple bills that I'm paying off. I keep track of that. One of them, y'all, I've negotiated to get it taken care of. So, but nonetheless, I am in this space. So I'm sharing this with you. So if you don't know your numbers, then you're guessing your way through this. And you can't be guessing. And there's a lot of talk about pricing and this, that, and the other. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But to get back to this point, I'm in this. Hold on, let me see. We got some comments coming up here. LaDosha says, I was doing the exact same thing today, and I see my business plan and working documents. Yeah, LaDosha also says, things change and happen fast. Yes, that's smart. I tell you, especially with how, these tariffs and prices, going up, we got to make adjustments. And if we don't make adjustments, we're failing ourselves and our business and our personal life as well, because it's tied together. So with that, I wanted to mention, do you actually know the cost, what it costs you to live and operate? So your rent, booth rent, supplies, taxes, personal bills, you got to get clarity on this, because clarity removes anxiety. Guessing creates it. So like I said, I've been working out my numbers, looking at things, seeing where even I can cut. And I got to tell y'all this. I was talking to someone yesterday, and one of my clients was saying how it took $70 to fill up their gas tank. And what I shared with her, I said, every time I go to the gas tank, go to the gas station, I thank my dad. And I'm going to tell you why I thank my dad. I think I put up a video, but my dad, from when I started driving at 16, and especially when I got my own vehicle, I was a senior in high school. He said, fill up at a half a tank. I think it was a way of him, kind of being with us, his way of, protecting us or being with us so we would never run out of gas. But I bring that up to say, now that the prices are a lot higher now, I don't worry about it, because I don't have to spend as much as if I was filling up, if I got a quarter of a tank, a third of a tank, below half. I fill up at half, and now sometimes I fill up at 3/4. If I get 3/4 of the way down, I'm filling up, because it's cheaper to fill up at those marks than it is if you let it go all the way down to you running on fumes, and you don't, like my dad said, you don't pass 50 lamb gas stations, and you need to put gas in the car. Go and fill it up. So, but nonetheless, she was saying how she spent $70 filling up, and I'm like, girl, I spend eight. Today I spent 1901, because I let it not quite half, but it was almost half. So honestly, that's the most I spent. Maybe $9.15 here or a few dollars there. But yeah, I've been doing it since I've been driving, and I've been driving a long time. But I say that every time I go to the gas station now, I just say, Lord, thank you. And Dad, thank you for telling me about this. But nonetheless, we're talking about money without peace, and how if you don't know your numbers, and you're making this money, but you don't know what your numbers are, then that creates stress. It creates stress. So in order to not have that stress, you got to know your numbers, and then create a system, which we're going to talk about that, create a system to support you with what you're doing. Okay. Systems help. The systems help you out. So the next point that I want to make within this is, if your prices are based on who you might leave, you'll always stay stuck. So are you pricing out of fear? Are you pricing due to your professional experience, your skill set, your time behind it, your time in the game, and even location? Sometimes your prices may differ based on where you are. Okay. So look at that. I can't say, your price is, you know, my price, or my price is your price. You got a price based on, like my mentor told me, what's your monthly expenses? You got to look at, are you covering your expenses, your business expenses? Are you covering to make enough for you to be able to do what you're doing? Which goes back into rent, supplies, taxes, personal bills, all of that. You got to get clear, because when you're not clear, clarity removes anxiety. Okay. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my personal experience and, you know, just my perspective with redefining rich: money, peace, purpose. All right. So another question that I want to ask: are you pricing? I already said, are you pricing out of fear? And if you are, why don't you have a system in place? Fear pricing keeps you overworking. It keeps you overworking. The right clients don't resist alignment. So if you're in alignment with your prices and you're offering the service that dictate the price point that you are charging, you don't have a problem. I'm going to be honest with y'all. My clients tell me that I'm not charging enough. I think I'm charging enough because it's taking care of what I need to take care of. So you know what I tell them? Uh, Bless me how you see fit, because I've done the numbers. I know what I need to meet my expenses, personal and professionally. So that's what I share with them. I ain't gonna just raise my price just to be raising my price. You know what I'm saying? So I charge what I charge, and I just let them know, hey, whatever you want to bless me, whatever you want, however you want to bless me, you know, do that, do that. But nonetheless, clarity removes anxiety, guessing creates it. So when it comes down to money, without peace, these are some of the things. These are some of the things that take place. If you don't know your numbers, you're creating anxiety for yourself. And that's business numbers and personal numbers. Because for those of us in this industry, if we don't have any other source of income that we're making from products, you know, or other resources coming in, then we have to look at our numbers. We got to look at our numbers and see where we are, and that'll lessen it. Uh, LaDosha says, check, review, adjust, and repeat bi-weekly. Now, you know what, LaDosha? I don't do mine bi-weekly, but I do look at my numbers monthly. I do look at it on a monthly basis. And actually, you know what? I can't say I look at the numbers like that, but when I'm putting in what I've spent in those categories that I mentioned on my Excel document that I use, and I'll pull that up again. That Excel document that I use to send my numbers to my bookkeeper, I utilize, I put numbers in. As a matter of fact, I had to make a run today and pick up some things, because I got certified last September as a sensory safe provider. And my category is for barber, braider, and stylist. So which means I work with individuals who have sensory, neurodivergent, or autistic. So I service them and youth. And with that, I had to go get a frame. So that's business. I took the frames back that were too small and adjusted, because I had to get larger frames. But anyway, I went and I took care of that. That's a business expense. I sent the note to myself so that I remember when I finish tonight, I'm going to go in my Excel sheet and put those numbers in. I try not to go past 2 days. Y'all, I've gone a month without putting in numbers, 2 months without putting in numbers. Um, I've gone a quarter. The longest I've gone is about a quarter without putting in numbers. But I kept the receipts and I kept my notes. I don't know why I like receipts, y'all. I like receipts. Might be old, call me old, it's okay. But what I did, I put down, I had to go to Staples to get some lamination done. I actually laminated my license. I do that. Some people just put it in the frame. I like to laminate it and then put it in the frame. Why? I don't know, but I do. So I went to Staples. I got gas. I went to Michael's. I had to get some snacks for my suite. So I put that down. And I did have lunch. We talked business. So I put that down. But I got my notes so that I can take and put those numbers into my Excel sheet. Let's see here. LaDosha says, I've done something creatively to meet the demands and satisfy our existing customer bases during those challenging times. We encourage pre-booking to help increase the likelihood of retention to help. That's good. I'm getting better at that, LaDosha. I'm getting better at rebooking my clients. So y'all will be proud of me. I tend to just, we get the yip yapping and I talk to them, but I have gotten better with rebooking services for my clients. So I got one client, that's booked all the way out to July. I got another client that books not only the lock retwist, but the shape up and the beard trim if it's not going to take place with the lock retwist. So I got that client, and I got a few others who have booked. The rest of them, if they contact me in a timely manner, I usually can, get them in, or we negotiate or work with each other's schedules. The other comment, she said, those numbers remain steady for at least 6 months out, especially with this rising cost. Yeah. Did you see the price of bleach? Oh my goodness. LaDosha, $9 a gallon. A few weeks ago, it wasn't that much. Can I tell you, it's funny you talk about bleach. I just went to Sam's. Let me pull up my app. I go to Sam's and get they sell a case of a gallon with 3 in it. And I think it's like 18. Let me pull it up and make sure I'm giving y'all the right price. Hold on. Thank God for apps. Hold on. I just bought some a few weeks ago. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, bleach. Okay. Oh, and they actually, so now they have it, the case of 3. I'm going to pull it up here. They have the case of 3, and it's a 3-count, 3-pack. It's a $18.98, and they have 50%, not 50%. I'm sorry, not 50%, not 50%, 50% off, because regular price is $19.48. So oftentimes they run a special, for so many weeks on various things. And when I see it, I stock up on it. Y'all remember I told y'all just last week, I had to go get my $6 where I paid for that Lysol in the 3-pack. They didn't give me my $6, my $3 off each pack. I had to go get it, and I'm glad that I did, because I would have missed out hadn't I went on the 12th. Because that was the last day of the sale that they was running. Anywho, let's get back to this. Okay, all right. So if your prices are based on, just work your prices, okay? Work your prices, know your expenses, work them prices based on what you need personally and professionally to run your business and take care of your personal expenses. All right. And as I said, guessing, that's not the right thing to do. You want to instead budget. Know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. And please price based on what it is for you. Okay? Don't worry about the next person. You got to be able to take care of you and your expenses. All right? So don't fear pricing. Okay? The right clients won't resist your alignment. They'll respect it because undercharging is often tied to self-worth, not skill. All right. I know that I'm charging a fair price because, like I said, I know my numbers. I know my numbers. And for my clients who say I'm not charging enough, and you know what? I look at it, I know it's the experience, it's the service that they're getting, it's the one-on-one. Um, and they see it, they know that I care. But not in just caring. I have the skill set and the experience now to provide the services that I provide, especially when it comes down to the unique demographics that I work with. Though I cut everyone, and my specialty is Afro hair, LaDosha, Afro hair. My specialty is Afro hair care, locks and braids. I do know how to cut everyone. And in that, I just tell them, just bless me how you see fit, because I know my numbers. So as I was saying, oftentimes undercharging is tied to self-worth, not skill. So if you're undercharging, examine that. Because remember, it's a mindset. It's how you feel about yourself, how you value yourself. Let's see here. LaDosha says, I do bulk shopping too. I'm just saying, rocks them coupon. I don't coupon, but I should do that. I used to when we used to get them in the paper, but there are many different ways to coupon. I do look at prices. There's certain places where I buy certain things at certain places because I know that my money goes a long way at those places. I just leave it at that. So I have specific places that I go shopping for certain things, and that's how I do it. But thank you, LaDosha, for sharing that. I appreciate it. So once again, know your numbers. And this point here, point number one, money without peace, income doesn't equal security. The bottom line, know your numbers. Know your numbers. Because when you know your numbers, it eliminates the stress. It eliminates the anxiety that you may have as it relates to being able to take care of what you need to take care of. I ain't telling y'all something that I ain't doing. Okay? We got them. I showed y'all the Excel sheet. I got numbers that I got to put in tonight. Okay. But nonetheless, let's get into the second point. The second point is about sustaining wealth. And I mentioned systems. So now we're going to talk about having a system, whatever that system looks like to you. So systems are greater than hustling. So you got systems in place that's going to help you not only organize, know what your numbers are, know where you are versus just hustling. And you got to hustle the next cut or the next 10 cuts or the next, I don't know, 20 cuts for this day and the next day or the whole entire week. If you got a system in place, you won't have to hustle like that, saying, oh, I got to get X amount of heads today, or X amount of shaves in today, or X amount of beard trims, or whatever it is. You won't have to worry about the hustling aspect if you got system. What are you talking about, Yah-Tay? Savings, paying yourself first, emergency funds. I'm working on 6 months. I got about 2 months. So these are things that I'm working on, y'all. I got about 2 months of savings. Yeah, Anywho, retirement planning. I'm actually meeting with a gentleman on the, let me see, I got it on my calendar. I'm meeting with him on the 13th of next month about some additional financial planning and retirement. I've been in businesses where I've went with funds and they match those types of things. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had to take them and use it. I've had to take it and use it. So now I am looking at additional ways to um, plan. I'll just say that. So I got that gentleman. I have a meeting with him on the 13th of next month. And depending on how it goes, I'll try to see if he's willing to come on the podcast and just share. So stay tuned for more on planning. And then here again, raising prices strategically. LaDosha just said, her numbers remain steady for at least 6 months. And then, she look at her numbers constantly, not in a bad way, but she look at her numbers because of course she got to be able to take care of her business and her personal business. Okay. So pricing, raising prices strategically, not just because you woke up on the other side of the bed and decide I'm just going to raise my prices today. Customers pay attention to that too. So in raising your prices, the question, y'all, I'm literally going through this. So it's a lot on my mind right now as it relates to this because I'm walking through this with you all as we speak. Let's see what she got here. I'm working on saving too. I want so much. I wasted so much money doing COVID and after COVID. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that. To my what else you say? Execo. Okay, I got you. I'm working on it too. And I mentioned the American dream, and I'm gonna talk about that because we got to think about that as it relates to what we see our dream is. But that's in the next one. So the next point. So here again, y'all, I feel like I'm all over the place, but just be patient with me. The first point we talked about money without peace. This point we're talking about sustainability or sustaining wealth. And with that, systems are greater than hustling. And what I wanted to share with you with that, systems in place prevent you from hustling, prevent you from saying, oh, I got to get 20 heads. Oh, I got to get 30 heads. Oh, I got to cut X amount of beards this week to make this bill. I'm going to tell y'all this. I've heard somebody in the shop say, well, I got my light bill. Well, I got such and such bill, or that's such and such bill, and it comes from, not having a budget and not planning. Have I always been like this? No. But like I mentioned before, after my dad's transition, I've been thinking about a lot of things. And not that I wasn't before, it's just it's right in my face. You know what I mean? It's right there. It's making me really analyze some stuff. So the question is, that question will humble you right away. So if you couldn't cut, and I said this in another podcast, if you couldn't cut for 3 months or 6 months, or if you couldn't style hair for 3 months or six months, what happens? What happens? I'm taking a pause there. What happens if you couldn't cut or style for 3 months or 6 months? That question will humble you real quick. You got to think about injuries. You got to think about burnout. You got to think about family emergencies. All of these things are real. All of these things are very real. And I've mentioned it before, but if you don't have systems, you're just running off of stamina. And stamina, you hustling. And for my young people who are entering into the business, you want to put some systems in place now that can secure you down the line. Get in the habit of paying yourself, taking care of yourself, putting some aside, as the old folks say, for the rainy days. We have to do that, or I would encourage you to do that. You know, um, I had a client who's in the industry tell me that they didn't do that early on. Regina even talked about it in her episode. The one thing she wished she would have had early on is a financial planner, somebody to assist her with her monies. She was making it, so she didn't think about it like that. Oh, I take care of this, I'll take care of that. She spoke about that in her episode. That was episode 60 and 61. Go check it out. Check out those episodes. So a lot of barbers don't have systems. They just have endurance. Hustle can't be the long-term plan. You can't continue to hustle, and not have systems in place to support you or assist you. LaDosha says exactly. You're doing great. Thank you. It's taking some time. And even with me, I don't plan on being behind the chair forever, because my desire is to go into teaching, and I'm moving in that direction, and I'm starting here. Anywho, systems equal savings, automation, scheduling boundaries, stamina burns out, systems sustain. So with having sustainable wealth, you want to put systems in place so that you are able to sustain what you're creating, what you're making. You don't want to use the hustle method so that you operating on stamina and eventually burn out. Because remember, if you can't work for 3 months, 6 months, and you don't have systems in place, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I got to tell y'all one thing. I got to work on getting my book out there. And because this is additional income for me. I know that it's a great book. It's more than just hair. You know, it's about purpose, you know, discovering your purpose. It's a lot more. But I say that because this is part of my planning too. I got to be able to get this out. More digital content. You know, that's passive stuff. You can press a button and bam, it's gone. I don't always have to physically be there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working to put other things in place to support me, but it's also in alignment with what I'm doing. If it ain't hair related, I had somebody ask me, somebody was trying to get me in, what was that lady? I saw this lady. She was trying to get me into a travel business. And I was like, no, thank you. I said, ma'am, I'm not going to even waste your time. I don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who has a travel business, $4 travel. Shout out to Miss Katrina George, who runs that business and have been in the business for quite some time. I go through her for all my booking, for all my travel and rental cars, all of that. I support her in that manner. I'm serious. If it's not related to what I'm doing in some way, shape, or form, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I'm serious. I it's just of no interest to me, you know. And yeah, I might have to think outside the box on some stuff, but some stuff I just know that I don't want to be bothered with. Anywho, up, phone buzzing again. All right, y'all. So peace is when your bills aren't chasing you. You're ahead of them, which goes into planning. What would financial peace look like for you? Ask yourself that question. What would the peace aspect of it look like for you? Because there are wealthy people out there, but they still not happy. Here again, we redefining wealth, money, peace, and purpose. You want to add those into you redefining what rich and what wealth is for you. So once again, um, what would financial peace look like for you? Your bills not chasing you. Okay. Being able to say no to clients without panic. Being able to say no to them and not have to panic. Is that something you can do? And for my young folks, put yourself in a position where you can say no and not panic if you have to say no. If if you have to say no, you're gonna put your I want you to put yourself in a position where you're not panicking about saying no because you're thinking about that bill. So taking time off without collapsing, sleeping without stressing about next week, putting systems in place that are going to help you sustain what you got. We're not going to be working off stamina. Okay, young people, put these systems in place like savings, automation, and scheduling boundaries. We talked about that before, all right? The next point that I want to share with you all is purpose plus profit. And I want to share this because I know that I'm operating in my purpose. I see it reflected back to me and my clients and them paying for the services that I uh, I like to say share with them, the services that I offer them. I mentioned earlier that actually I haven't raised my prices in um, about 18 months. It's probably closer. The fall of this year will be 2 years. I haven't raised some. Well, I take that back. Some prices have been raised. I got to tell y'all this. When I first started, I was doing two-strand twists for $45. One of my clients, she was like, mm-mm, you got to go up. You got to go up. But anywho, I haven't. Some prices have gone up within that time frame, but the majority of my prices have remained the same. Um, so, with that being said, I know my numbers, and I'm able to take care of what I need to take care. And like I tell my clients, if you want to bless me, bless me. But I'm okay, at least for right now. I'm saying that for right now, y'all. So the purpose plus profit, wealth aligned with calling. And back to what I was saying, because I know that I'm in my purpose, I'm in my calling, I see the I'm being taken care of. I'll just say that. I'm being taken care of in terms of my customers taking care of me as it relates to the prices that I have for my services. They take care of me. So a question that I want to ask you all for food for thought: do your income reflect your values? Oftentimes it don't. For some, do your income reflect your value? If your money doesn't match your value or values, something is off. Something is off. Let's look at this a little deeper. Are you serving the clients you actually want? Are you serving the clients that you actually want to service? Are you building something meaningful or just being busy? I'm throwing these questions at you because I want you to think about this. This is purpose plus profit. And I can honestly speak from a space where I'm in alignment, I'm in my purpose, I'm in my calling, and I'm seeing the profit reflected back to me. Even though they fuss at me, some of them, you need to raise your prices. You need to raise your prices. I'm okay. And in due season, it'll happen if need be. But I want to ask, are you building something meaningful or just being busy? Alignment brings fulfillment, not just income. I'm feeling fulfilled and I'm seeing the income reflected in that. I can honestly say that. Though I'm still looking at my numbers, y'all. I'm still examining those numbers and making sure that I'm able to take care of what I need to take care of. All right. So, are you building something meaningful? Are you building assets and not just working hours? I just talked to y'all. I'm getting ready to talk to somebody on the 13th about retirement and other asset building. And I'm going to be transparent. I rent right now. And in all honesty, I don't know that I desire to buy. I'm single. Um, I don't have any children. So I don't know if that's an investment that I want to make, especially at this age in my life. Other people have their own perspective as it relates to that, but that's just where I am. I feel like I can accumulate assets and make my money work for me in other ways. And I've weighed the pros and cons of it. And for me and where I am, I think this is the best situation for me, which brings me to the American dream. We, everybody talks about the American dream. I'm re-examine what the American dream means to me. What does that American dream means to you? Okay, so since I mentioned home ownership over renting, there are a lot of things that come with home ownership and renting. Yes, you can have a fund. Yes, you can put money aside. Yes, you can do all of those things and still have home ownership and have equity and all of those things. But I know that there are other ways that I can create and build and have assets outside of that. And I'm just speaking from my perspective. Ladoche says, I will not be buying either for the exact same reason. I look at, I'm just going to give y'all some things that I've examined. Take for instance, this like literally just happened, y'all. This literally just happened last week. What's the day? Let me look at the calendar. On the 10th of April, so about a week and a half ago. If I was in a home and the refrigerator went out, the dishwasher went out, the microwave went out, the stove went out, I would have to replace that. And I've heard some people say that they wait before they do. You know what I'm saying? Well, just a week and a half ago, the complex that I live in replaced the microwave, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, and the stove. They replaced all four of them. Now, of course, it's reflected in the rent. You know what I'm saying? But they just replaced all four of them. I don't have to worry about it. When my other refrigerator went out, I just picked up the phone and called. You know, yes, I have renter's insurance. You got homeowners insurance. You got uh what they call that, the association fees and all of these things. You got to weigh your situation based on your lifestyle. Does it work for you? So, as I mentioned, I've been re-examining what the American dream means to me. And I would encourage you to examine what the American dream means to you. As a single person, I just don't think it's a good investment for me. And maybe I might not feel the same down the line, but right now, that's how I feel. Okay. I think it's a good investment for me. So, once again, these are some food for thought questions as it relates to purpose and profit. This is point number 3. Does your income reflect your values? Are you building assets or just working hours? Okay. That system versus hustle. What versions of rich or wealthy actually fulfill you? So you can't be looking at the Instagram folks and all these other people and what they doing. Y'all don't know if that stuff real. You don't know if that stuff real. So if you only get paid when you show up, you're still trading time. Like I said, I'm re-examining some things. I'm looking at my numbers. I'm putting some other things in place to help me with this next phase of my life. How do I want to live? What do I want to do? Where do I want to be? How much income do I need? You know, I'm already working on lowering my debt because I do have some debt. I'm working on lowering that. Like I told y'all, I just negotiated something. So that's as a matter of fact, I'm paying it off tomorrow. But nonetheless, this is where I am. I'm redefining rich, money, peace, and purpose. What does that look like for me? You know, and I'm just sharing it with you. All right. So re-examine what the American dream means to you. I want to share that. My dad was a baby boomer. My mom was a baby boomer. The American dream meant something different to them. You know, it means something different for me. But nonetheless, take a look at that. Assets pay you way beyond the chair. Time is limited. Assets expand you. So look at your assets and are they working for you? Is it working for you? Our time is limited. Okay. And like I said, I coming up on another 2 weeks, it'll be a year that I've lost my dad. I'm looking at my time here, and I don't mean to be morbid, but I'm even looking at my time. I got more time behind me than I do in front of me. We all are going to expire. We all are going to expire. Wherever you are in your life, take a look at it, examine it. Do you have things in place so that you can be about what you want to be about? Like I said, re-examine whatever the dream is for you, re-examine it based on who you are, where you are, what you like, what you want to do, and how you want to do it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. That's all I can share with you on that one, y'all. Seriously, if you've tuned in tonight, you've tuned in to episode 66, Redefining Rich, Money, Peace, and Purpose. And I've shared some personal experience with you as it relates to this topic. You know, the first point that I spoke on was money without peace. And basically, income doesn't equal security. It's a lot of individuals out there that have income, but they're not secure. They don't have peace. You know, they're stressed constantly because they're not taking care of things the way that they should in order not to stress. High revenue, but living paycheck to paycheck. Okay. You got to know your actual numbers a month. You got to know what you're working with. I shared with you all, I know what I'm working with. I know where I am. I know where I want to go. And I'm setting some things in place to help me with some other things because of some choices that I'm making as it relates to, example, home ownership versus renting. But that's just the space where I am in. You may not be in that space, but that's where I am for the time being. And guessing instead of budgeting. And with this here, know your numbers. Don't price out of fear. Price based on your experience, your professionalism, location, if that have anything to do with, which location has a lot to do with it. Think about real estate, location, location, location. But once again, you don't want to price out of fear. You want to price based on your professionalism, your skill set, your experience, all of those things. What is it going to take for you to operate your business and take care of your personal expenses? All right. The second point we talked about, sustainability. Systems are greater than hustle or hustling. You want to save. You want to have some emergency funds set aside. You want to have, people talk about retirement plans. You want to have some of those things set in place. Because remember, if you can't work for 3 months or 6 months or something happen because family emergencies come up, injuries happen, things happen. What do you have in place to support you if something like that comes up and you're out of work? So you want to talk about that and if you intend to raise your prices, raise them strategically. Okay. Please raise them. I can't even get it out. Please raise them strategically and not just raise them to be raising them, because customers, they are going to know the difference, especially if you're not putting out. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The third point is purpose plus profit. Wealth aligned with calling. Okay. You're in your calling, you're in what you're doing, you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just ensure that you're taking care of your client. They're going to take care of you. All right. I promise you, they're going to take care of you. Even my ones that tell me I ain't charging enough, but I know, I know my numbers. I do. Yeah. So with that, I ask yourself, does your income reflect your values? Are you building assets or just working hours? You want to look at that. What version of rich actually fulfills you? And once again, I want you to re-examine what the American dream means to you, not equated to somebody else. What does it mean to you? What does it take for you to live? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Answer those questions and base what you need off of that. Okay. And one other thing that I want to share as it relates to this here, everybody wants to look rich, but now I ain't gonna say everybody. Some people want to look rich, but not everybody wants to feel whole. And in essence, this is what I'm really getting at. Because you can have it and still not feel good within yourself. So at the end of the day, I want you to be able to feel good about you and what rich or what wealth is to you. So it's freedom, it's time, is it peace, is it family? What is it? Social media rich is different from being real life rich. And again, you got to define what rich means to you, what wealth means to you. For me, it's a combination. My peace, my purpose, and having some savings so that I can go do what I want to do when I want to do it. Okay. So that's really what it's all about for me. So define it for yourself, or you'll chase someone else's version of um, wealth forever. So define, ultimately, my goal or my desire for you is to define what it means for you, so that you're not chasing somebody else's version of it. All right. So real talk, being booked is not the same as being profitable. People can be booked, but are they profitable? If you can't rest without stress, you're not rich. You're not rich. Think about it. um, a full schedule with no structure, that's still chaos. No structure, but you got a full schedule, it's chaos. Peace is a financial goal too. I told y'all I got somebody that I'm working with. I'll meet with him on the 13th of next month. Yeah, I am gonna see if I can get him on. Hopefully it's not a problem because it is his business, but I'll just let him share his information. Nonetheless, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your life to sustain your lifestyle. Okay. You shouldn't have to sacrifice your life to sustain your lifestyle. All right. We want to be able to balance that. Get a plan, get some systems in place so you're not hustling and guessing, okay, and overworking yourself. So, in closing, I want to say rich isn't about how loud your money looks, it's about how quiet your stress feels. It's being able to pause without panic, to plan without pressure, to live without constantly catching up. I want to repeat this one more again. Rich isn't about how loud your money looks, because some of us like to be flashy and look like it, but we're not really it. And once again, rich, wealthy is what you define it as. What's your dream? Not the American dream. What is your dream for you? How you want to move, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Answer those things for yourself. Set it up based on you and your family dynamics. If you have people that you're, responsible for. But once again, rich isn't about how loud your money looks. It's about how quiet your stress feels. Now, there's good stress and there's bad stress. All right. Know the difference. You stress is good stress. The other stress ain't no good for you. All right. So it's about how quiet your stress feels. It's being able to pause without panic, to plan without pressure, to live without constantly catching up. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been there. I'm working some things out um, to remove some stuff, but y'all, it ain't no joke. I told y'all I've got left holding in the bag a lot of times, and no more, no more. Okay, that's real wealth. All right, that is real wealth. I want to thank y'all for joining. What'd you say, Ladosha? Unbetterably said that. Y'all better say it. What? Yeah, but I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate WK, Ladosha, Sandra, all of you who have joined and who caught this. And for those who are catching this on the replay, I know that I've kind of let me take a deep breath, because I am literally walking through this as we speak. I'm redefining what wealth, what riches, what things mean for me, not what others deem it to be, but how it looks for me. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? How do I want to operate? How do I want to move? And I got to set things up so that it works for me. And before I get off, I want to share with you all some stuff. And I mentioned this before. I saw this gentleman on a podcast and I thought he was dope, Chuka Torres, and I decided to pick up his book, and it's called The Rich Barber Method: How to Attract Clients, Keep Them, and Charge More. I hear that charge word, y'all. And just to do a quick outline of the table of contents, he starts out with what you're about to master, the power of an idea, the rich barber mentality. Domain 1, the act of barbering. The act of barbering affirmations he has here, the mastery mindset, the 4 models, the 4 stages of achieving mastery. So it's not just about what it says at face value. He really gets into some, great subjects. Domain 2, client experience. The client experience affirmation, the world-class service mindset. And domain 3 is about marketing, the marketing affirmations, the higher status mindset. And then to close it out, he talks about the pinnacle, time to up your price, charge more. So he talks about charging. He has a little pyramid here that kind of discusses some of the methods in his book. This other one that I picked up when I went on Amazon to purchase this one was another recommended one. And it's the Habits of a Six-Figure Barber, Unlock Your Potential, Behind the Chair. And in his book, his table of content reads, Chapter 1, Take Care of Yourself. I've talked about that. Chapter 2, crave and acquire knowledge. So in other words, he wants you to crave knowledge and acquire knowledge. The second chapter is the power of appearance. And there's a lot of talk about appearance and, what people wear and don't wear. I'm going to just say this here. If you're looking to level up, appearance is one thing you're going to need to take into consideration if you want to level up to the next level. But he talks about the power of appearance, practice discipline, overcome the fear of failure, master time and make today count. That's chapter 6. Chapter 7, leverage relationships. We all service people across the board. You have a lot of people that come and sit in your chair who have various backgrounds and they work in different areas. Leverage your relationships. He goes on for chapter 8, respond, don't react, especially when you're dealing in conflict. I got to tell y'all, I had a situation that happened here recently where I actually missed an appointment. And it's not like me to miss an appointment, but I reached out to my client, apologized, told them the scenario and what happened, and told them the appointment that's coming up because it's a part 2 of what I'm doing, because it's an event that the child is going to. I told them it's on me. And because they know how I am, they were like, no problem. We made it work. It's all good. But who I am, I felt bad about it because it was a big moment for the child. Well, there's going to be another event coming up similar to that, but I still take it as important. So I told them, don't worry about it. This weekend is on me. So don't worry about it. So in saying that, respond, don't react. Um, I just took that as to share that point with you. Number chapter 9, consume with intentions. So I'm mindful about what I consume myself, and I'm also mindful about what I put out, especially like these sessions. Barber knowledge matters. This goes under that group of videos. So I'm mindful of that because I want to ensure that what I put out, it is meaningful, it's useful, and it's evergreen. In other words, somebody outside of the barber and beauty industry can take this information and utilize it. Just take off the barber, just take off whatever, and you can use these fundamental principles. You better say that. Thank you. I appreciate it. The podcast was very affirming for me. No problem. Thank you. I'm glad that it is. And I gotta share this, y'all, and being transparent. I tend to deal with my situations first before I share them because I want to mind my emotional state and make sure that I'm not giving that emotional energy, but sharing my experience and my perspective, but not, having some substance behind what I share. And because I'm actually going through this, I felt that it was appropriate to share. And thank you for sharing that, LaDosha, because that just confirms me sharing this topic. And like I mentioned earlier, some things can, you know, uh, cause different mindsets, different tension, talking points, whatever. I'm sharing from my perspective with my experience. I know that my heart is right when it comes down to information such as this. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just merely sharing my perspective and my experiences. Okay. But that being said, because I am going through this as we speak, making some adjustments and doing some of these things, I just thought it would be great to share with you all. So, getting to the last chapter in this particular book, it says, in a world where we can be anything, be grateful. And I always say that I'm grateful despite what I may be experiencing, what I've gone through. I'm still grateful. Every time I open my eyes, and I'm serious, y'all, I get up, I go to the restroom, or, I come in, or I interact, or I exchange with someone. I always say I'm grateful because I am. Um, I'm very grateful. And that opens the door for other things. The next book that I want to share with you all that I got is How to Invest 50 to 5,000. The Small Investor Step-by-Step Plan for Low Risk Investing in Today's Economy. This is by Nancy Dunham. So I just recently purchased this, and I'm going to be looking at this because, as I said, at this point, I don't intend to invest in a home. I believe that I can accumulate assets and make my money work for me in other ways. And that's just my personal choice. So you select your choices based on what it is for you. Okay. And the other book that I picked up, and when I was going through it, this interior design school, I took this class. So I'm actually picking up my personal financial planning book. I've had this for quite some time. As a matter of fact, wow. Y'all see that number, 2008. That's when I got this book. And wow. I was part of this program when I worked for the YWCA as a prevention and outreach educator. How did you grow up? Take a personal pledge against racism. Wow. Wow. Anywho, I've picked this back up, and I actually have some audio tapes that I had when I took this course. I would record my professor talking about different things. So I'm actually going to look back at some of this and see um, what what happens. So here's some of my notes, different things that I've highlighted and took down. So those are just some references that I'm sharing. Some of them deal with finances specifically. Others are just mindset shifts and some things, some guidelines, and some tools that we can use. But nonetheless, I just wanted to share those things with you all as I walk through this process myself and redefining rich, money, peace, and purpose, and what it means for me. And once again, you all, rich isn't about how loud your money looks. Um, it's about how quiet your stress feels. It's about being able to pause without panic, to plan without pressure, and to live without constantly catching up. That's real wealth. That's what I'm working towards. And remember, it's you define it based on you. That's all I have. I'm Yah-Tay, the barber stylist, the barber educator. I'm going to call it a session. This has been episode number 66, Redefining Rich, Money, Peace, and Purpose. If you have any questions, any comments, please share them. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And if you haven't purchased my book, A Heritage of Hair, you can scan the QR code. It is available. If you're here in the area locally where I am, I can get you your QR code, official label, official seal for the book. I am a 3-time award-winning author. Let me pull that up real quick for y'all before I jump off of here. I am a 3-time award-winning author for, here we go, y'all. I want to share this. I am a 3-time award-winning author for book cover design, for my book cover design, first-time author, and published with purpose, social awareness. So I am a Lit Star Book Award winner. So that's what this seal is all about. If you would like the seal to go with your copy, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you're interested in me signing it, connect with me. We'll work it out. All right. DM me if you got any questions. If there's something else that you want me to talk about, discover, cover, just share them in the comments or DM me. I appreciate your time. We're on every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First Sunday with Brandy and I for the Fade and Flow show. And I'm actually going to, well, I'll share this. Miss Regina reached out to me, and she mentioned it on her podcast, but she mentioned that she wanted us to get together and do something on a monthly basis, and I agreed. So we're working some things out as it relates to that, for us to do some stuff together. And then, yeah, so other than that, that's about it. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you, like I say, you can get your copy, scan the QR code, and we'll be back. This has been our Change Your Mindset, cutting through mindset, change your mindset. Well, if it's set in a way that's not beneficial to you, I want you to change your mindset. But this has been cutting through mindsets. identity, alignment, and legacy. And this is Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. See you on the next episode. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Naturals.